The story begins by explaining that, every 1,000 years later, all the gods gather in Valhalla to decide the fate of human beings. Another one of these meetings is now underway to decide whether humans are allowed to live or not. They all thinks that humans have destroyed planet Earth's lands and ocean, so everyone votes to get rid of humanity. But just before the verdict was passed by Zeus, one of the 13 Valkyrie, a demigod named Brunhilde, brings an offer for the gods. She suggests everyone to solve the matter in a different way, and proposes Ragnarok, a one-on-one battle between humans and gods. Each side will select their 13 champions, and if humanity wins 7 of the rounds, then gods will give humans another 1,000 years to live peacefully. All gods laugh considering how much stronger they are than human beings, and they all end up agreeing with Brunhilde's idea. Brunhilde was the representative of human beings. The 7 million years of human history, she gets to choose 13 of the strongest humans. Soon the Ragnarok between human beings and gods begins. The rules of the battle were very simple. Humans and gods will fight until one champion dies. The god represents Thor, the god of thunder, the strongest Norse god in the first round. But even so, Brunhilde was still very confident with her champion. She represents a famous Chinese warrior, an undefeated champion of human history. His name was General Lu Bu. The first round begins and they both approach each other face to face, without thinking how the other opponent will attack. Thor and Lu Bu has similar fighting styles, and they both are the ones known to be able to kill their opponents with a single attack. They both strike, and Thor uses his hammer to attack, and Lu Bu uses the halberd to block it. Suddenly then Thor activates his lightning power, where he tilts his whole body backwards, after using the attack, making everyone believes that he was going to win. Lu Bu suddenly emerges from the dust, injuring Thor. The gods were in shock that a human weapon could even damage the god. But we finds out that before the match begins, the 13 Valkyrie demigods all gathered together to create weapons for the help of humanity. The demigods transform themselves into weapons for humans to use it against the gods. They are known as magical weapons. Lu Bu was using the 4th Valkyrie, known as Randris, who possesses the power to penetrate through God's armor. Lu Bu then uses the magical weapon to break the Thor's glove armor. After that, a thumping sound comes from the hammer. Actually, Thor was using the gloves to seal his full power and prevent Thor from breaking his own hammer. Afterwards, he removes his gloves. Thor was now getting serious, as he uses his full power to throw the hammer at Lu Bu. But Lu Bu dodges it and counterattacks. But the hammer returns to Thor, but again he dodges it. However, it was necessary about hammer to returns to Thor, as he needs this to happen so he can activate his power known as the Gerard's hammer. He uses the Gerard and the huge explosion occurs in the battlefield. Then all the humans were stunned, as there was no way Lu Bu would be able to survive. Surprisingly, Lu Bu blocks his attack. But even though he blocks it, this time he breaks his leg, as the human body can't outstand that much pressure. And this was one of the reasons why human beings can't defeat the gods. At this situation, all hope for humanity was lost. And even Lu Bu thought his time has come. Then suddenly Lu Bu's horse appears on the battlefield. He struggles because of his injured legs, but somehow climbs on the back of his horse. He approaches Thor with his final and ultimate attack, which he had learned it over several decades of training. The crowd are cheers for Lu Bu, as he goes for his ultimate attack called the Sky Piercer, while Thor throws his hammer with all his power. But Lu Bu's power was unmatched against the god of thunder, and Thor won the first battle. However, even after being defeated, Lu Bu was still happy of the match result because he finally fought a worthy opponent. His army charges on Thor in the battlefield and screaming out at Thor to kill them, so they can reunite with their general Lu Bu. So Thor fulfill their wishes and they all get wiped out by the hammer. And now humanity is one step closer to their extinction. Brunhilde, the representative of human beings, decides to bring out the next champion, who has a special number next to their name. This will be the warrior in the second round. As he comes in battlefield, all humans recognize exactly who he is. He's the one who hates the gods most throughout the human history. It's the one and only the original ancestor of humans, Adam. Adam's opponent was Zeus, who was the king of gods. Everyone didn't expect such a powerful god comes in the second round. Actually, the original opponent for Adam was to be the Indian god, Lord Shiva. But at the very last minute he was swapped with Zeus, thus making Brunhilde very worried. Adam then enters the battleground with confidence, and doesn't care about which opponent he's facing. Then Zeus enters with a very dominating aura, and uses his power to boost his physique and increase his body size. Before the round begins, Regan Leaf, the 7th sister of the Valkyries, offers herself for Adam's weapon. They both combine their souls, and the people were in shock when they see Adam's weapon, which is a knuckle dusters or iron fist, which he was going to use it to defeat the oldest god of the universe. Zeus was the first to attack, and he unleashes a powerful punch at the speed of light. But Adam simply dodges the attack, which infuriates Zeus. Then Zeus uses even more powerful attack and does the meteor jab technique. But still Adam manages to dodge easily all his combo attacks. Suddenly then Adam stops and strikes back using the same moves as Zeus. He was able to do this by using his special ability called Eyes of the God. The gods has created Adam as their perfect reflection of themselves. So Adam was able to copy all Zeus' attacks and he used the moves of gods against them. Adam was winning the fight so far by beating Zeus with his own powerful attacks. Suddenly Zeus changes his attack style from punching to kicking. He uses the kick against Adam. But Adam once again dodges his attack and uses the same move to knock down Zeus. Then Zeus becomes very angry and uses his ultimate attack, which he had learned it from his father when he was a young god, by which he can stop time entirely, and we see that everything stops moving. This was the ultimate power which defies all the laws of time. But to everyone's surprise it was actually Zeus who got knocked down by Adam. Everyone was in a shock after seeing the scene. We see that Adam's divine reflection power was too great. Everyone thought this round has ended and Adam had won the battle with. And while humans were enjoying, all of a sudden Zeus stands up but in an anger. Zeus starts getting serious for the fight. As for the first time in thousands of years, someone was able to force Zeus to bring out his final form known as Adamas. But this form was for limited time as he can only use it for 12 minutes. Zeus starts attacking. But Adam uses the Eye of the God to copy Zeus in this form, and uses Zeus's power against him and counterattacks. It looks like Adam was going to be the winner of second round. But Adam's eyes were starting to get overheated, because he was using the Eye of the Lord's power for too long. And for Zeus every attack he does, while in this final form, he carries a large amount of power. So Zeus was also having a hard time in the fight, because his body is starting to reach its limit of endurance. In The Spectator Loki tells everyone that this is now a battle of time, to see whose power will drains out first. After delivering lots of punch to Zeus, Adam's eye stops working. He becomes now completely blind. Taking this opportunity, Zeus counterattacks with his full power. Adam tries his best to defend himself because he couldn't able to see anything. And Adam takes a massive hit from Zeus. While all of human beings is in the despair, a voice calls out for Adam. And in the last moment also the father of all of humanity was still determined to protect all of his children. It was a miracle to see Adam to get up and continue the fight. Being in this condition after Zeus takes another punch from Adam, Zeus collapses on the ground. But everyone realizes that Adam was completely standing still. Everyone thought that Adam had won the battle. But it turns out that Adam had already taken his last breath a moments ago when he became blind. But even after his death his soul continued to fight on for his children. Later Zeus was claimed victorious in the second round. So after 2 matches, 2 Valkyries and 2 humans were dead. Humans must win the third round. At this moment Brunhilde received an information that the gods are representing Poseidon, their opponent, in the third round. Poseidon was the brother of Zeus, the god who was known for being the most brutal. And he was the ruler of the oceans. Brunhilde was finding it hard to choose the right champion for the third round. And just then an old guy walks in saying that he would represent for humanity. His name was Sasaki Kajiro, also known as the greatest swordsman in history. While being dead he continued his path to becoming the greatest swordsman. When Kojo removes his sword, everyone get in shock to know that he reached the highest level of a swordsmanship. He's the number 1 under the sun. The match begins but both of them were just standing still. Kajiro was wielding Manohar's sword, the magical weapon formed by the Valkyrie Valand, the second sister of the Valkyries. Poseidon was not even looking at Kajiro, because he considers himself far more superior than Kajiro. He even feels that he's more superior than all gods of the universe. They both were standing for some time. No one noticed what was going on except from some of the gods. Actually Kajiro was already fighting Poseidon, but in his mind, and has lost the battle 18 times in his mind. This was one of the Kajiro's skill called the 10,000 image of defense, which creates a virtual image of his opponent in his mind, allowing him to try out some different attack patterns. Kajiro understands that if he takes the initiative to attack first, Poseidon will finish him off with a single blow. Kajiro was sure that no matter how he attacks, he will get killed by Poseidon. After a series of calculations, Kajiro still decides to attack first. According to the law of inertia, when slashing at 500 km per hour the sword can't able to change its direction. But Kajiro was different others and uses a special skill called the Tsubame Gishi, and injures Poseidon. After using Tsubame Gishi, Poseidon looks into the eyes of a Kajiro for the first time. He starts coming towards Kajiro and unleashes multiple attacks, but Kajiro easily dodged them all in an instant. He was able to this because he was still using the 10,000 images of defense in his mind, so he was able to see all of the Poseidon's moves. On this moment Poseidon starts whistling. This attack was so fast that Kajiro was not able to react in time. At this time Poseidon was laughing at Kajiro, and says, "What's wrong? I thought you were able to read your opponent's moves." Then Poseidon uses his Emperor Tidy attack on Kajiro. The gods were in still shock of Kajiro's defenses. They can't believe that an ordinary human can get to a level comparable to the god. Kajiro was blocking all of Poseidon's attacks at the speed of light. Suddenly, Kajiro takes the initiative to counterattack Poseidon using fast sword slash. Kajiro then turns his sword sideways in his hand. It was a secret technique, but it was completely useless in the face of Poseidon's overwhelming power. Poseidon breaks the sword in half and humanity lost his all hope. We then get a quick flashback scene of Kajiro fighting the last opponent he faced, whose name was Musashi Miyamoto, a legendary swordsman. Which he remembers the joy of training with him to become the #1 swordman. After this, for the first time in his life, Kajiro pushed for victory. He stands once again with his broken sword and uses the Valkyrie weapon regeneration power, which gives him 2 swords. With the new swords in his hand, Kajiro attacks Poseidon with his ultimate attack, using everything he experienced and learned from the legendary swordsman of his time, and manages to kill Poseidon. This was the first time the god of the sea was killed by a human. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoyed, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss out on another video. Until next time, guys, take care.